Okay, when you think about a safe retirement, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably a portfolio that's, tucked away and super safe things like cash and bonds way out of the crazy market swings. But what if I told you that playing it that safe could actually be the biggest gamble you ever take with your future? Yeah, let's step into what I'm calling the new retirement minefield.
I know it sounds totally backward, right? But stick with me here because we're about to see how being too careful can leave your finances wide open to some serious threats. Today's retirement landscape, it really is a minefield of hidden dangers. And that old school, safe plan, it might not cut it anymore.
So look at this number, 86%. What in the world is that about? Well, it's a number that frankly should make anyone who's even thinking about retirement sit up and listen. Really listen.
Okay, here's the kicker. According to a study from Jackson National Life Insurance, a staggering 86% of retirees, we're talking about the very people who think they're playing it safe, fail a basic diversification test. Why? Because they've loaded up on cash and bonds. They've basically ignored the one thing they desperately need for the long haul, growth. And that turns their safe strategy into something, well, incredibly risky.
All right, let's start navigating this minefield. The first hidden danger we need to talk about, it's a real one-two punch that can knock out even the most cautious plans. What is it? It's the combo of rising inflation and the simple fact that, well, we're all living a lot longer these days.
And this brings up a huge concept called longevity risk. Fancy term, but it means something really simple and kind of scary. The risk of outliving your money. I mean, it's great that we're living longer, healthier lives. That's amazing, but it also means our savings have to last way longer. We're not talking 15 or 20 years anymore. We could be talking 30 years or even more.
And check out this quote from Ryan Graves. It just nails the problem. He says, "Excessive cash and bonds won't save you. It guarantees you'll fall behind." Think about it. When the cost of everything keeps going up, your cash is losing value every single day. So just hiding your money isn't saving it. You're actually guaranteeing that you're losing ground.
And this is why having some growth in your plan isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's absolutely essential. Now look, we all know stocks go up and down. It can be a roller coaster. But historically, they've been the best tool we have to actually beat inflation. Without that kind of growth, your nest egg, it's not just standing still, it's actively getting smaller in real terms every single year.
Okay, let's move on. The next hidden danger in this minefield? Oh boy, this one is a big one. It's the wild, unpredictable, and often jaw-dropping cost of healthcare in retirement. Take a deep breath for this one. $366,000. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, that's what a 65-year-old couple might need just to have a decent shot at covering their healthcare bills in retirement. And we're not even talking about fancy stuff here. That's for premiums, prescriptions, all those out-of-pocket costs. It's a number that can completely wreck a retirement plan if you're not ready for it.
But here's the good news. You are not powerless here. You can get ahead of this. Experts suggest a few key moves. First, if you have access to one, pour money into a health savings account, an HSA, before you retire. It's an amazing tool. Second, make sure you enroll in Medicare right on time. Don't be late. The penalties can last forever. Third, get smart about managing your income in retirement. This can actually lower your Medicare premiums. And finally, you absolutely need a plan for long-term care because your standard Medicare policy, well, it probably won't cover it.
So even if you've got your growth portfolio all set up, there's another danger lurking out there. And this one is particularly nasty right when you're starting retirement. See, the problem isn't if the market has a bad year, it's when it happens. This is something called sequence of returns risk. And here's what it means in plain English. Getting hit with a big market downturn in your first few years of retirement is way, way more damaging than getting hit with one 10 years down the road. Why? Because you're starting to take money out. The timing of those market returns, it's not just important, it is everything.
And this really shows you what I'm talking about. Just imagine two people. They both retire with the exact same amount of money, and over 30 years, they get the exact same average return. The only difference? One of them gets a few bad market years right at the beginning. The other gets those bad years at the end. The person who gets hit early is forced to sell their investments when they're down just to pay the bills, and their portfolio, it might never recover. The other person, they end up in a much, much better spot. It's all about the timing. So how on earth do you protect yourself from that? Well, a really smart strategy is to build a buffer, a cushion. Basically, you set aside a few years of your living expenses in really stable stuff like cash or short-term bonds. That way, if the market takes a nosedive, you don't have to touch your stocks. You live off the buffer and give your investments time to bounce back. It's a game changer.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about individual choices and strategies. But we have to be real here and acknowledge a fourth and very different kind of danger. The truth is, this retirement minefield, it isn't the same for everybody. For a lot of people, there are bigger, systemic issues that have created a seriously uneven playing field.
And the data on this is just stark. A Federal Reserve survey from a few years back showed that white households held almost 84% of all the wealth in the country. In contrast, black households held around 4%, and Latinx households held about 2.5%. These aren't just statistics on a page. This is a massive headwind that affects everything, including the ability to build a secure retirement, right from day one.
And you see this gap show up in really practical ways, like who even gets access to a retirement plan at work. This data shows a clear pattern where participation in these plans was a lot lower for Hispanic and black workers. And look, a lot of the time this isn't about people choosing not to save. It's about not even having the option because a plan isn't offered. That shuts down one of the main ways people build wealth for retirement.
Okay, so we've walked through some pretty serious hidden dangers. The big question now is, what do you do about it? How do you build a plan that can actually withstand all this? Let's put it all together into a kind of survival guide.
Here's the bottom line. A strong retirement plan today isn't about avoiding risk. It's about managing it smartly. So what does that look like? It means you have to diversify for growth to beat inflation. You have to get proactive about those massive healthcare costs. You need to build that cash buffer to get you through the market downturns. And for some people, adding in a source of guaranteed income can be a huge stress reliever. And probably the most important piece of advice, don't try to figure all this out by yourself. Working with a financial professional can make a world of difference. And that really leaves us with one last big question for you to think about. When you look at your own retirement strategy, remember that in this new landscape, just playing it safe isn't going to be enough. So you have to ask yourself, is your plan built just to survive? Or is it built to thrive for all the years to come?